What's up, everyone? Zach here, and welcome to the Team Taste Tournament Report, where today I'll be going over my top 8 Madison Regionals report with Ultra Necrozma. I'm not really going to go through the deck list much. I'm just going to kind of show it here, and I'm going to make a separate video really detailing the breakdown of the deck and go through all that. So if you want to check it out, I'll put a link into the description when I finish up that. But I'm just going to get right on into the tournament report. So round one, played against Ultra Necrozma, played the mirror, and that was actually a loss win-win. So start off the day 1-0. Really feels nice. It was a really close series against Justin Clark, and the mirror match is really it seems kind of up in the air at first, but there's a lot of intricate things you can do. Like, I know one game I started up with a Mimikyu and I just started filching and setting up my board and made him take the first knockout, and then I responded with a Guzma Dustmane or Dawnwings knockout. So really just weird matchup overall. Trying to get your footing straight first round. So I started off 1-0, and then second round played against Dalton Didlet, also Ultra Necrozma. So two mirrors to start off the day was fun. I think that one was a win-loss win. I know I ended up winning on turn 3 of my time with a Guzma, so it was really close. Almost went to time and tied, but ended up taking that series. So started off the day 2-0. My deck's running super fine. I'm playing super consistency, so the double prof letter really helped me out, especially early on in the day. And then round 3 played against Derek Heineman, and he was playing Buzz Rock, so my first Buzz Rock of the day, and ended up being my only Buzz Rock of the tournament. So I know most people didn't have that same experience with it being everywhere, but that one was actually I lost the first game and then won the next two. So it was another really close series. It came down to I had all four, like both my Dawn Wings and both Ultra Necrozmas in the discard, and I sycamored and needed to hit my rescue stretcher, I thought, and then I whiffed it, thought the game was over, thought, I didn't have anything to do. I Ultra Balled, went through my deck, and my Mimikyu was there. I thought it was one of my last prizes, but that was the previous game, got a little confused. So dropped Mimikyu and copycatted his Buzzwole's attack and for the game. So really close series. I think he ended up tying his win in it or something today too. He almost made it too. Really solid player. And then round 4, I actually got picked to be on stream, so I was all hype. I'm like, yes, first stream match, let's go. And then my opponent, Zach Zamora, he flips over an execute, and I'm like, what am I in store for now? And he goes ahead and Ultra Balls away and Alolan Executor GX, and I have to pick it up and read it. I'm like, what's coming at me? And it was a Zork Alolan Executor deck, so Alolan Executor Tropical Shake does 20+20 for each different kind of basic energy in your discard pile, so it hits 120 pretty consistently, and it's 160 HP, so it's super obnoxious to take care of, and I can't really bench a Dawn Wings because then he just Guzmas and knocks it out with Zork, so it was a really tricky matchup. I ended up getting O2'd by him, so he just rolled over me, just steamrolled. Like, I had no response to just about anything, and it was pretty unfortunate, but it is what it is. So that was my first stream experience. Pretty cool. And then we had lunch, which we ended up having like an hour and a half lunch break, which was great. Got some witch. It was pretty good. And then round 5 played against Buzzgarb. So it wasn't the order pad Buzzgarb that we saw in day 2, but it was still had B strings and he was still playing elixirs. So it got a little scary when he got Garb online and got like 2 B strings off, but I ended up taking it, and I think I won the 2 games, so it was a win-win there. So after the 5th round, I'm 4-1, feeling really good. I got 2 more wins. I got my invite secured, and then round 6 played against Vikabulu. Who was it? Pokedad Steve Cross, really cool guy, really chill. So we talked a lot, and it was game 1 got a little scary for me, but he ended up playing a Marshadow down, and I could just Dark Flash it for the win. And similar thing happened game 2, so I ended up taking that one down. So now I'm 5-1. Now I'm thinking 2 more wins, and I got my day 2 secured. And then round 7 went against fellow Michigan native Sean Foisey, and he was playing Greninja with a really spicy Frogadier. He played the new 20 drop Frogadier, so he had like water duplicates it out, and then he was playing 4 splash energy, so it'd come back to his hand, and he could drop it and do some really cool math with Shadow Stitch, which was all he really could do against me, seeing as I was playing Tina Promo. So got Tina Promo down all 3 games. Game 1 I ended up just, I think, barely losing that one, and then game 2 I think he struggled to set up game 2, and then game 3 was pretty close. We went back and forth. We were playing pretty quick because we knew a tie wasn't going to help us make it to day 2 at that point. And I actually missed a Sky Scorching Light that I could have taken 2 prizes and won the game off of, but I missed it, and he told me the turn after because, you know, he evolved the Froakie or the Staryu, so it didn't matter that he told me, and he's like, oh, you missed it, you could have won, and I ended up winning 2 turns later or something like that. He ends me to 1, and I hit a Sycamore, and it was, you know, pretty fortunate. It was also game 2, he ends up like counter catching my Giratina promo. I only have 1 Float Stone in deck, and I top decked the Float Stone and played the Cynthia that I had in my hand, and it was pretty frustrating for him. But so I ended up taking that series. So now I'm 6-1, got my invite secured. I only needed 12 more points for my invite, so I'm feeling really great, feeling on top of the world. And then round 8, I played against Jake Ewert, which was my first of many times facing him. And I knew he was sitting next to me the round before, so I knew he was playing Greninja. And I think game 1 I flip over a Tina promo. I think I just started it and ended up winning that game, and then I lost a close second game and won the third game. So I'm 7-1, made day 2, feeling on top of the world again. Just, you know, it was my 3rd day 2 in my last 4 regionals, so was feeling really good. I'm playing solid. The deck's running great. And then round 9, played against Ian Robb, who was playing the Order Pad Buzzgarb, and I take 2 swift losses to him. Just get slapped around. You know, like, the deck really, or that matchup, I really need my turn 2 Malamars online to get the energy onto the field quick. And then I whiffed all my energy, like, needed the Sycamore into 1 energy, and whiffed completely. And then, like, he ends me and then knocks me out, and then I whiff, like, get another Sycamore, miss all my energy and Beast Ring, so it was just unfortunate, but he ends up rolling me over, and I'm heading into day 2, 7-2, so feeling really good. We were, like, out of there at, like, 9 something, like, just, you know, really smooth tournament. Jimmy always puts on a great show, so it's always a pleasure being at those regionals. You know, when everything's moving fast and you're ahead of schedule, it just feels great. And then wake up in the morning, go to the venue, you know, all that fun stuff, pack up, check out the hotel. And then we're sitting around waiting for the round 10 pairings to get posted, and everyone's like, oh, pairings are posted. And I refresh my online pairings, and I'm like, weird, it doesn't have, oh my god, I got the buy. And it was, you know, one of the best things that could have happened. There's a lot of, like, misinformation about buys. In Pokemon, buys really aren't bad for you. You get the automatic 3 points, and they don't hurt or help your resistance. It kind of depends on the rest of your resistance. Like, it just doesn't factor in at all. So my day 2 resistance only counted on my 4 opponents. It didn't count on, like, 5. So, and it ended up being pretty beneficial for me. So I got the round 10 bye. Awesome. And I was going into round 11, 8-2. So, and I know 32 points is kind of safe, which ended up not being super safe, but we'll get that later. And then round 11, I played against Jake Ewert again for the second time in the tournament, and I ended up taking 2 pretty quick wins off him. He kind of, the one game he just dead drew completely, had 2 Froakies prized, and couldn't hit Max Potion or E-Hammer or Splash or anything really. And then the other game was pretty swift. I, like, hit my Beast Energy and knocked out 3 Greninjas before he could hit his E-Hammer. And then he finally took out that Dawn Wings, and then he takes his 2 prizes. They were both his E-Hammers. It was pretty unfortunate for him. So end up winning that one. And then I'm 9-2 going into round 12. And then round 12, I get to play on stream again against Connor Lavelle. And he was playing Zoroark, which at the beginning I'm like, oh, I think he was playing Zoroark, but couldn't remember if it was Buzzrock. So played on stream against him, and then round 1 I just go off completely, which I was doing pretty much all weekend. Getting two Inke's down, then Sycamoring, and then getting the two Malamars out turn 2 and just starting to slap around things. And game 1, he started Lele, attached double colorless, like Cynthia and passed, and then that was about it. And then, so I knocked out, my turn 2, I knocked out his Lele, and then turn 3, I like softened up a Lycanroc, and then knocked it out the previous or following turn. And from that, I took Choice Band, Beast Energy for my prizes, and I have Guzma in hand, and I'm like, okay, as long as he doesn't end me. But he was at 3 prizes, and he had to have got a Guzma to take a knockout that turn, because I ended up Moon's Eclipsing him, so my active was immune to all of this damage. So he ends up Guzmaing something, and as soon as he Guzmas, I'm like, game. He has no Rockruffs down. He can't Bloodthirsty Eyes my whatchamacallit back out. Dawn Wings. So end up comes back to me. I Guzma the Lele and Dark Flash for 180, which is, huge. It's just such a good number. And then game 2, he proceeds to steamroll me. I think I scooped my 3rd turn because I had no Inke's down and no energy in the discard. So that's one of those things, like, you gotta know to scoop when you lost it. Like, I had to scoop right away. So that game was pretty short. And then game 3, I think he opened up with a started Rockruff and he Kukui'd and passed. So pretty unfortunate start for him too. And then I end up going ahead a little bit, getting him a knockout with Mew. And then it came down to it. He was at 4 prizes and I was at 1. And I Lele'd, softened up a couple Zoro, like a Zork, and then he brought up another Zork, and then I top deck a Professor Letter, and I'm like, sweet. I play the Professor Letter, have the metal, attach the metal, and I'm like, oh, went to my discard to attach to the 2 energies, because I had the Choice Band, or no, I didn't have the Choice Band, so I needed 2 more Psychics on him, the Ultra Necrozma to take the 1 hit, and I'm like, oh, I only have 1, so I go to put it on, and he's like, oh no, he's like, you have the game, I have no follow-up response to this, it's all you. And then I saw that, people were texting me like, oh, like, you didn't have the energy, where, like, you weren't gonna win, yada yada yada. And Connor's just like, yep, you have the game, I have nothing. Like, he really didn't have a follow-up response. He had to take 2 prizes before I took 1, and he just, everything on his field was damaged. He had no Lycanrocs left, so he ended up just being, like, I'm not winning this one, it's yours. So there's where that confusion was. But yep, so I win round 12, and I'm now 10-2, sitting at 30 points, and I think I need the 32 to make it. And that's what the general consensus was. And then some people are like, oh, it might not be safe. But as of this moment, my opponent's only losses were against me, so I was feeling pretty good. They were all doing well. And then round 13, I get matched up against Ahmed Ali, and he's playing fighting, but we just ID, like the top 3 tables ID'd. And then about 5 minutes later, we realized, oh man, there could be like 7 32-pointers, and like 4 could miss, and and like 3 would make it. So I started panicking a little, but then I was like, did all the math. I'm like, okay, I'm the top 31-pointer at that time, so I would be safe going into it. So round 14, I get up paired against Will Mantho, which was like the best case scenario for me. So I got up paired and I just ID'd. I'm like, I'm going to be safe enough. If any 32 points bubble, it won't be me. So I ID'd. So that's how I only had to play 2 rounds in day 2. It was pretty amazing that I pulled that off somehow. But, with the bye, giving me the win was awesome. And then the, what I thought the favorable matchup in Greninja, and then the 50-50 where I just drew like fire. So really solid day 2 for me. Like, I felt like I played 2 rounds, it doesn't get much better than that, right? And then top 8 standings get posted. I'm 5th seed, and I get matched up against Jake Ewart, who won his winning into top 8, and he was the 4th seed. So right away we're like, oh, hey, guess what? We're playing for the 3rd time. And I saw it was just hilarious. But he was a fun opponent, so we were joking around all day, like the previous day and the day 2. So, he was good spirits about my Tina promo. And in top 8, I ended up taking the first game, close game. he Moonlight Slashed at some point where he probably needed one more Shadow Stitch. And then game 2, I actually prized my Tina promo for the first time when I needed it. And then I took the knockout onto the Frogadier, and from the one prize, I grabbed my Giratina promo. Super lucky. And, you know, I was talking with my brother, and they thought that I just didn't get it yet. And I'm like, nope, it was prized. It was my one prize that I took. And then put that down the next turn, and I ended up whiffing like a key energy at a moment, and I don't know, it was a really weird game, and he Moonlight Slashed at the perfect time, and I couldn't really respond well, and he ends up taking a close game 2, and then game 3, I benched my, like, I started Ultra Necrozma, which you need at least one in the matchup to take like a big hit, especially if they have to play Lele down, and then I Ultra Ball my other one away, and for my first deck search, and find that one of my Dawn Wings is prized, which is a huge issue. Like, you really kind of need both of them to start attacking and switching between, and you just really, it's a Dark Flash war, and they Shadow Stitch, and you Dark Flash, and they Shadow Stitch, and it's a really obnoxious matchup. It's pretty 50-50, but I felt kind of uneasy going into top 8 playing against him, because I could really tell he was figuring the matchup out more. Like, he was experimenting during the Swiss rounds with trying to, you know, like Moonlight Slash at different times to figure out what was right, what was wrong. And after game 1, I think it really clicked when he needed to start Moonlight Slashing, and then I had a couple unfortunate draws where I missed energy, and, you know, things like that happen. And he ends up winning game 3. I end up decking myself out. I Sycamore into no cards, and, you know, passed it over to him. So it was he was like shocked. He's like, oh my god, like, we're talking, like, I knew it was over about 7 turns before I lost, but I knew at that point there was nothing I could do. I had no energy on board, and he knew he could just keep Shadow Stitching the rest of the time. So yep, he took down top 8. So overall we were like 5-3 in games. Like, I beat him in 5 games, and he beat me in 3, so that was pretty hilarious. But yep, so that was about my day, and it ended up securing my invite plus 100 points, and now I'm sitting at almost 500, so that feels nice to get up there. Especially after that slump in the beginning of the year. Like, my first 4 regionals, I completely whiffed all points, and then really broke the slump in St. Louis, and, you know, continued it in Charlotte, so that felt good. But yeah, that's about it. Just wanted to, you know, give everyone a quick update. So next stop will be North America Internet, and everyone keeps asking me if I'm going to play this, and as of right now, I don't know. Probably something like Ultra Necrozma. It was a really fun deck, really reminiscent of like Raikou Eels, what I played a lot because I wasn't back around during Ray Eels time, but I really like the Dynamotor attach energy from discard style of deck, and you really don't need elixirs in this deck, which I keep trying to preach. It really doesn't help you get to your win condition, and even when I played against the Ultra Malamar with elixirs, I still didn't feel like I was at a disadvantage. I felt like I was fine with my Professor Letter. Like, I didn't need 6 energy on the board turn 3. Like, you just don't. You just need the one attacker and to get your Malamar set up. And that's about it. So I'll go over the deck list and some of the strategies behind some of the matchups in a dedicated deck video. I really wanted to get this out to you guys. So, yep. Any questions at all, feel free to hit me up. I've been responding all the last couple days to questions, and, you know, just deck choices or card choices, like little text that you can use. Like Baby Dawn Wings is going to be really good in the deck, I think, especially to combat the triple Baby Buzz. So that's about it. Hit me up on Twitter also. I tweet all throughout the tournament. Just about every other round I'll update my, you know, record. So, yep, that's about it. Later, guys.